Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Easy English Story Lab. Today, I want to ask you something very strange. Have you ever taken a selfie and later noticed something you didn't see before? Have you ever looked at a photo and thought, wait, who is that? What if you were alone in your room, but the picture showed someone else behind you? Would you be scared? Or would you try to find the truth? Today's story is about a girl who took a simple selfie at home. She thought she was alone, but when her friend looked at the picture, she asked one question. Who is that behind you? Listen carefully. Pause the video. Repeat after me. Copy the pronunciation, rhythm, and emotion. This is the shadowing technique. Now, let's begin the story. My name is Emma, and I want to tell you about something strange that happened to me last month. At first, I did not think it was important. I thought it was just a normal photo, but later I understood that it was not normal at all. It started on a quiet Saturday evening. My parents were visiting my aunt in another city, so I was alone at home. I don't usually like being alone at night, but that day, I felt calm. I made some tea, watched videos, and talked with my friend Lily online. Around 9 o'clock, Lily sent me a message. She said, "Show me your new haircut." I laughed because I had just cut my hair shorter that week. I went to my bedroom mirror, held my phone up, and took a selfie. Click. I looked at the photo quickly. My face looked fine. The light was soft. My hair looked good. I smiled and sent the picture to Lily. A few seconds later, my phone buzzed. Lily wrote, "Emma, who is that behind you?" I felt confused. "Behind me?" I typed back, "What do you mean?" She replied, "There's a girl behind you, near the door." I felt a cold feeling in my chest. I opened the photo again, but this time I looked more carefully. At first, I saw only my room, my bed, my desk, my wardrobe, the door behind me. Then my eyes moved slowly to the left side of the photo, and I saw her, a girl. She was standing near the door. She had long, dark hair. Her face was pale. She was not smiling. She was just looking at the camera, looking at me. My heart started beating fast. I turned around quickly. My room was empty. I stood still and listened. I heard nothing, only the quiet sound of my fan. I looked at the photo again. The girl was still there. I zoomed in. Her eyes looked strange, sad, almost like she wanted to say something. My hands started shaking. I typed to Lily. I was alone. No one was here. Lily replied, "That's not funny." "I'm not joking," I wrote. We stared at the photo together for a long time through messages. The girl in the picture looked real. She did not look like a shadow or light problem. She looked like a person. After some time, Lily said, "Maybe it's just the light or maybe something from the background." I wanted to believe that. I really did. I put my phone down and tried to breathe slowly. "It's nothing," I told myself. "It's just a photo mistake." But I could not stop thinking about her face. I went to the door and looked at the place where she stood in the photo. Nothing. I even opened the door and looked into the hallway. Empty. That night, I could not sleep well. Every small sound made me open my eyes. I kept seeing the girl in my mind. The next morning, I showed the photo to my parents when they came home. My mother looked worried. "Maybe someone was in the house," she said. "That's impossible," I said. "The doors were locked." My father looked at the picture for a long time. Then he said, "Emma, this looks like the old photo we found in the attic last year." I felt confused. "What photo?" He said, "The photo of the girl who lived in this house before us." My stomach felt heavy. "What girl?" I asked. My father told me a story I had never heard before. Years ago, before we moved into this house, another family lived here. They had a daughter. Her name was Anna. She was about my age. She liked taking photos. She liked music. She liked sitting near the window in my room. My room. One day, my father continued. Anna got very sick. She stayed in her room for many weeks. She did not go outside much. Then one winter, she passed away. I felt cold. My mother said softly, "We found her old photo in the attic. She looked a little like the girl in this picture." I could not speak. My father went upstairs and came back with an old box. Inside there were some papers and a photo. He gave it to me. I looked at the photo. My hand started shaking again. It was her. The same long dark hair, the same pale face, the same sad eyes. The girl from my selfie. Her name was Anna, and she used to live in my room. I looked at the selfie again. She was standing near my door, watching, not angry, not scary, just there. I did not know what to think. Was it a ghost? Was it my imagination? Was it just a strange accident? But one thing was clear. I was not alone in that photo. I could not stop thinking about the photo. The girl's face stayed in my mind all day. Even when I tried to watch TV or listen to music, I saw her eyes again. They were not angry. They were not scary like in horror movies. They were just sad. The kind of sadness that makes your heart feel heavy. That night, I went back to my room slowly. I stood near the door, the same place where she was standing in the selfie. My heart was beating fast, but I also felt something else. Curiosity. "Anna," I said quietly. Nothing happened. I felt silly talking to an empty room, but I tried again. "If you are here, I'm not scared," I said softly. Still nothing. I sat on my bed and looked around my room. Everything was normal. My books, my lamp, my clothes on the chair. But now it felt different. Like I was sharing this space with a memory, not a person. I opened my phone and looked at the selfie again. I zoomed in closer to her face. Her eyes were looking straight at the camera, but somehow it felt like she was looking at me. Then I noticed something new. Near her hand, there was a small shadow on the wall. It looked like she was pointing at something. I followed the direction of her hand in the picture. It pointed toward my old wooden desk. The desk had been in my room since we moved here. It was not new. It had some scratches, and one drawer was always difficult to open. I walked to the desk slowly. "Okay," I whispered. "This is crazy, but I have to try." I opened the top drawer. Just pens and paper. Nothing strange. I opened the second drawer. Some old notebooks and stickers from school. Then I tried the bottom drawer, the one that was always stuck. I pulled hard. It opened suddenly, and something small fell onto the floor. A folded piece of paper. My hand started shaking again. I picked it up slowly. It was old. The paper was yellow and soft, like it had been there for many years. I opened it carefully. Inside, there was writing. The letters were small and careful. It said, "My name is Anna. If someone finds this, please know I was not afraid." I just felt alone. I felt like the air left my body. I sat on the floor, holding the paper, trying to breathe. She wrote this, "In this room. In my room." I read the note again, slowly this time. "I loved music and taking photos. I wanted someone to understand me. I hope the next person who lives here feels happy." A tear rolled down my face before I knew it. She wasn't trying to scare me. She wasn't angry. She just wanted to be remembered. I looked around the room again. "Anna," I said softly, "I see you. I understand." At that moment, my lamp flickered for 1 second. Just 1 second. Then it was normal again. I didn't feel fear anymore. I felt calm. like someone who had been waiting a long time finally felt heard. I placed the note carefully on my desk. "I'll keep this safe," I whispered. "You are not alone anymore." That night, I slept better than the night before. I did not wake up from every little sound. The room felt warmer, like a heavy feeling had disappeared. In the morning, sunlight came through my window. Everything looked bright and peaceful. I picked up my phone and opened the selfie again. I stared at the place where she stood. My heart stopped. She was not there anymore. The background was empty, only my door, only my room. I blinked and looked again. Still empty. I felt goosebumps, but not from fear, from understanding. She didn't want to stay. She just wanted someone to know her story. I folded the note and put it in my diary. Then I smiled softly. "Thank you, Anna," I said quietly. And for the first time since the selfie, I felt completely safe. The days after that felt different. I still thought about Anna, but not with fear. It felt like I had helped someone finish a story that had been waiting for years. The house did not feel heavy anymore. My room did not feel strange. It felt calm, like after a long storm when the sky becomes clear. At school, I could not focus on math or history. My mind kept going back to the note and the photo. During lunch, Lily asked, "Did anything else happen?" I shook my head slowly. "No, but the photo changed." Her eyes went wide. "Changed?" "She's gone," I said quietly. Lily looked confused. "Gone?" I showed her the picture again. "Only my room. Only the door. Nothing else." Lily was silent for a moment. Then she said, "Maybe she just needed someone to listen." I nodded. "I think so. She didn't want to scare anyone. She just didn't want to be forgotten." That evening, I sat at my desk and opened the note again. I read it many times. The words were simple, but they felt heavy. I just felt alone. I understood that feeling. Everyone feels alone sometimes. Sometimes we smile outside, but feel quiet and sad inside. Maybe that was why she appeared in the photo. Maybe she saw someone who could understand her heart. I decided to do something. I took one of my notebooks and wrote at the top of the page, Anna's story under it. I wrote everything I knew. About the photo, about the note, about the feeling in the room. I wrote about how I found the paper in the drawer and how the room changed after that. I wrote about her love for music and photos. Then I added something new. "I live here now. I play music. I laugh with friends. This room is full of life. You are part of this story too." I smiled while writing. It felt like I was answering her message, like two people talking across time. Before sleeping, I placed the note carefully inside my diary again. I turned off the light and lay in bed. The room felt peaceful. But then I heard something, very soft, music. I sat up slowly. It sounded like a quiet melody, like someone was humming a song. It was gentle and calm, not loud or scary. I listened carefully. It came from near the window. My heart beat faster, but I was not scared. "Anna," I whispered. The music continued for a few seconds. Then it stopped, like a soft goodbye. The room became silent again. I lay back down, and a strange warm feeling filled my chest. Not fear, not sadness, gratitude. The next morning, I woke up with sunlight on my face. I felt happy for no clear reason. The air in my room felt light and fresh, like a new beginning. I checked my phone. Lily had sent a message. "How are you today?" I replied, "Good. I think someone said goodbye." After school, I went to the attic with my parents. We looked through the old boxes again. We found more photos of the family who lived here before, and in one of them, I saw Anna holding a camera. She looked happy. She was smiling, standing in the garden. sunlight on her face. I asked my mother, "Can we keep this photo?" She smiled. "Of course." I put the photo in a small frame and placed it on my desk. "Now," I said quietly, "you are part of this room. You are not forgotten. Your story continues." That night, I took another selfie. I stood in the same place, same room, same door behind me. Click. I looked at the photo. Only me. But something felt different. I zoomed into the background. Near the window, sunlight made a soft, bright shape. It looked almost like a smile made of light. I smiled too. "Goodbye, Anna," I said softly. From that day, I was never afraid of being alone in my room again, because I learned something important. Sometimes ghosts are not trying to scare us. Sometimes they just want to be remembered. And sometimes helping someone else find peace brings peace to us too. And maybe the real ghost was not in the room. Maybe it was the loneliness that stayed after someone was gone. When we remember, when we care, when we tell their story, that loneliness disappears and the room becomes full of light again. Now it's your turn. Go back and listen to the story again. Pause after each sentence and repeat out loud. Copy the pronunciation, rhythm, and emotion. This is the shadowing technique, and it will help you speak English more naturally and confidently. Don't worry about mistakes. Every time you speak, you grow stronger. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video, subscribe to Easy English Story Lab, and write a comment. Do you believe in ghosts? Or do you think the story was about something deeper? Practice every day. Small steps create big progress. See you in the next story.